Hi, good morning, everybody. This is Don Gulling, CEO of Verteks Consulting. Appreciate you joining. Today's webinar is about Mitel Connect, the Lifecycle update. We're going to talk about support migration options. I'm your host, Don Gulling, CEO of Verteks Consulting. Recently, we were promoted to a Mitel Platinum partner. So now we're one of only a few Mitel Platinum partners in the country, and we're proud of that distinction. On the webinar today, in addition to me, we've also got Brittany DeFilly and Robert Hipke. Those names should be familiar to everyone that gets involved with us in our Mitel support. Robert is our client support specialist. Brittany handles our marketing outreach and all of our webinars. So thank you for joining. I do want to reiterate that we are recording the webinar. We will post it on YouTube later, share a link with everyone, so you'll have the ability to review this or forward it to colleagues. Additionally, any questions that are posted in either the questions section of the GoTo or the chat, we will try to address those live on the call. If we're not able to address it live, we will definitely get you an answer in detail by the end of the day. So feel free to post anything there. Last thing before we hit the next slide is I did post in the handouts section of the GoTo dashboard. You'll see a handout there, which is a PDF. Which is the Mitel Connect product bulletin. I wouldn't focus too heavily on that at this moment. You can refer to it later. It's pretty detailed and it's a lot of text. So I'm going to break it all down for you and kind of walk you through that. So that's there if you need it because it's quite detailed. But what you'll get today, I think, is enough for you to be assured that you've got all the information that you need. The first thing I want to address today is that this is not a car driving over a cliff situation. I don't want to make light of it. You know, that there's a roadmap, there's a lifecycle update, there are changes ahead. But what happens in situations like this, and this has been going on for a little while, is that other market entrants, i.e. competitors, or potentially Mitel partners that are shifting directions, will frequently use events like these lifecycle updates and timelines to create urgency and to create an impending event. And occasionally they will parse the storyline or use dates to their advantage in a way that may not be, factually accurate. So we're going to focus today on the reality. So what FUD means is fear, uncertainty, and doubt, and that's what we're seeing a lot of in the marketplace is a lot of uncertainty and doubt. So rest assured, we're going to give you the facts today. We're going to cover it in detail. We're going to answer all your questions. But this is not a car driving over a cliff situation. We do have time. Your system is not going to stop working. It's not going to go offline. It's not going to break. There is no date at which it turns into a pumpkin and stops working. It will continue to operate even after the expiration of support. So you have some time. We're going to go over that in a minute. One of the things I like to do whenever I present stuff like this, even to my own team, is I like to use a three-pronged approach in a past, present, future, kind of where we've been, where we are now, and where we're going. I realize this is a lot of text on this slide, but I'm going to go through them item at a time. I really hate these build-out slides. It's a personal thing for me, but I don't like all these bullets flying on the screen for some reason. I'd rather just see it all at once. So going back to where we've been, as a reminder, and I'll make it brief, in 2017, Mitel acquired ShoreTel. At that time, ShoreTel was doing great, but Mitel was in a mode of acquisition. They bought several brands, and they were trying to be the consolidator. That was their approach in the market. It was a publicly traded company. They had a bunch of capital. They were out in acquisition mode. They bought ShoreTel. When they bought it, they rebranded it MiVoice Connect. So when we refer to Connect, we're really talking about the legacy ShoreTel brand or the legacy ShoreTel operating system, which is now MiVoice Connect. In June of 2023, a couple years back, Mitel announced a lifecycle update for Connect and said they were consolidating platforms. That MiVoice Business, which is another on-site and or cloud platform, will be the go-forward on-site UC platform of choice, and that they would be sunsetting support for MiVoice Connect in December of 2029. So we're talking about a lot of dates in a bit, but that's one of the important ones. So the official end of technical support for MiVoice Connect is December 31st, 2029. After that date, the system will still work. You'll still be able to receive and place calls and log into administrator consoles and make moves, adds, and changes. All that will still function. You won't be able to get any support from Mitel. For frame of reference, before Connect, this is before 2017, ShoreTel had an operating system called 14.2. So it was ShoreTel 14.2. We still have 9 clients running 14.2 today. And it hadn't been supported for years and years and years, still using it. So I'm not encouraging that and trying to tell you to stick with systems that are that old, but we still have customers active on 14.2. They're still using it. It still works fine. So not a crisis. Definitely something to plan for, though. So what have we done in the past? In 2023, in July, Verteks started emailing our clients, adding it to our newsletter, sending out emails about that timeline. There was some really early FUD from competitors about that, and a lot of people, concerned about emails they were getting about ShoreTel's out of business or Mitel's out of business. And I mean, I heard it all, trust me. But the case is that that's not the case. In November of 2023, our team, Robert and the rest, we started inviting everyone, all of our current Mitel clients, you and others, into a webinar for a Lifecycle update, which we held in December. So in December, we did our first public webinar discussing the Lifecycle update. In that webinar, we talked about migration. We did a demo of MiVoice Business. We talked about on-site, virtualized, subscription, cloud, all of it. And then we kind of repeated that over the past 2 years. We've done it several other times. You can see it below here, 6, 7 times in the last couple of years we've done those webinars and sent those emails out. At the bottom of the screen, what you'll see is the latest information from Mitel on that technical bulletin, which I did drop in the handouts section. But I want to focus on something that has been the latest kind of area of concern, and that's this end of user license sales. And it talks about December 31st, 2025, which is, a month and a half away. Mitel has announced, and it is official, and it's in that bulletin I posted, that has been changed to December 31st, 2026. So I know it says 2025. It has just been updated to 2026. So here's the key support dates. You'll still be able to buy add-on licenses, add-on users, and so on up until the end of next year at minimum, if not longer. And you'll still be able to get hardware repairs all the way until 2029 at minimum, if not longer. These are the minimums, not the maximums. And this end of design support, again, this has been changed. It says now 2025. I'm going to give you an update on the next slide or two about that. So moving on to the next slide, where we are now. As I mentioned, that they announced the end of technical support in 2029. Verteks is continuing to support and will continue to support MiVoice Connect to then and beyond, just like we're supporting 14.2 now, which is way past its end of life. So we're going to stick with it. We're not going to stop supporting it. We're totally committed to continuing on-site support for all of our Mitel clients as long as we can, as long as you want to. And to prove that, I mean, we just were promoted to Mitel Partner Platinum status as a result of, our achievements over the last 12 months with Mitel. Our service desk team, which is the folks that you've come to know and love over the many years, Juan, Nick, Dave, Paul, Scott, Steve, Mike, Brian, the rest of the team, they're still here and they're still able to answer questions and give you support and give you a remote and give you all that live on the phone, Monday to Friday, 8 to 5:30, and available 24/7, 365 via callback for after-hour support. We have callback, Christmas Eve, New Year's Day, the whole nine. We have a lot of clients that are in public sector, fire departments, police departments, city councils, hospitals, you name it. And they have people there all the time. And so we have to be geared up for that. So we are. We're ready for that. Our people are on call. We have a rotating schedule, so it's fair to the team. Everybody on the team basically is on call for about a week, a month, roughly. We just extended that to a 5-week rotation. So every 5 weeks they're on call for a week, and they're compensated for that. And it works really well. We have a minimum of 4 people on call at all times, 3 on the front lines, a manager, and a backup. So between 3 to 5 people on call after hours. Those callbacks, from the 24/7 callbacks, we're typically, 30 minutes, 20 minutes for a callback if it's at, 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night. If it's 2 o'clock in the morning, it might take a half an hour, but we are there for you 24/7. We are still certified and trained and working on these platforms. We have them in-house deployed. We're using Mitel Connect. I've got a Connect phone on my desktop. Our other teammates in the support area, they have multiple phones on their desks. If you go look at, Scott, Steve, Mike, Brian, those guys, they might have 3 phones on the desk on 3 different platforms. So they've always got access to the telephone user interface. We, of course, have a full lab environment. We have a HPE hyper-converged data center. We've got multiple virtuals of multiple operating systems with multiple loads of telephones on there. So we can pretty much do all that in-house still today. And we're still selling it. Customers are still buying it. Not only Connect, but also MiVoice Business. And in the past year or so, we sold about 8,000 new on-site customers. So it's not going anywhere. On-site is still here, and people are still buying it quite a bit. And we've had tremendous success in the last year. Actually, the last 12-month period has been the most we've ever sold for on-site. So exciting achievement there. That's primarily due to a few big customers. We had a couple of giant customers that wanted to do on-site, and we're grateful for that. So now, where we're going. What does the future look like? Where are we headed from here? First, we're going to continue to have recurring and ongoing communication with you and all of our clients about your options. So you can continue to participate. We're going to continue to give you updates. We're going to continue to send those out in our newsletter. Please be on the lookout for those. We don't want those to be salesy at all. They should be very informative with technical articles and serious updates. We send them out once a month, the first Thursday, basically, of every month. But as this information at the bottom is, updated or refreshed, which it can be, nothing will get moved forward, but things could get pushed back potentially, just like this license sales just got moved next year. That just happened about 10 days ago. We'll keep you updated on that. Our plan is to meet our clients where they are and support their journey based on their own priorities, requirements, and plans. So if you're in a position where you've been evaluating your internal IT systems and you're concerned, maybe you're a coastal business, or you're right on the water and you're concerned about hurricanes, you're concerned about disasters, you're worried about uptime in the event of a prolonged outage of power or flooding or whatever, and executives have said, hey, we need to move our stuff into secure offsite locations that are not in a FEMA flood zone, and you want to put your stuff in a data center in Atlanta or wherever, Denver, who knows, we can do that for you. And and I'm going to cover that in a minute. That may be with cloud, that may be with on-site technology that's virtualized in a public or private cloud. But wherever you're at, we can do that for you. We're going to talk about it in a second. So if you want to stay where you're at and you're happy where you're at, it's working, we're going to meet you there. We're going to support you where you're at. So you're happy, you like it, you don't want to change, no problem. Don't change. You want to consider changes? Great. We're here for that too. If you're on Connect and you want to remain on Connect, you can do so. And you're going to have full support from us and Mitel, and we're not going to stop. And we're going to do it at least until 2029. That's the commitment, and we're going to honor it. I know that some of you on the call have known me and us a bit longer. Some of you might be a little bit newer to us, but I started Verteks Consulting 30 years ago, and the reason I started it, one of the primary reasons, was I was working for someone else in this IT industry, and I had a bad boss. I had an unscrupulous boss, and I didn't like the way he did business, and it resulted in some pain for some employees and some customers, and it really frustrated me. And I thought, man, there's got to be a better way to do business than this. And I talked to some clients at the time, and they encouraged me to start my own. And when we started Verteks, I always pledge, and my people here know, and hopefully that whatever happens, we're going to be straight with you. We're going to tell you the truth. Sometimes it's not always pretty. Sometimes it's not great news, but we want to be honest with you. And so you can count on us. That's not a sales pitch. Hopefully, you've come to believe that, but we're not going to go anywhere. I'm not planning on leaving. I'm not retiring. I'm not selling the business. We've got, long-term veteran employees that are sticking with us, so you can count on us for the long haul. That said, we do have clients that do want to migrate. I mean, we are having those conversations, very frequently. We just had a couple do it in the last couple of weeks. We had a longtime Mitel client who was worried about disaster recovery and resilience, and also had new leadership that really had a cloud-first agenda, and they wanted to go cloud, period. They didn't want on-site at all. So we moved all their servers into Azure. It was a massive data center project, and we moved all their phones into RingCentral. That was the preference they had. We showed them a bunch of stuff. They wanted RingCentral. We got them a great price on it. We did the migration for them, and they're happy. We had another customer, a smaller one, that wanted to move, and they wanted to go to Zoom. So we did that. We have another customer, a couple of bigs, that wanted to go to MiVoice Business on site. So we did that. So you're going to see those options, but they're all there for you. In that options realm, Verteks and Mitel, we work together, and we've tried to figure out how do we, honor the commitment you've had to the brand in the past. How do we give you the best possible price going forward? And to that end, we've worked with Mitel to develop incentives, trade-in programs, and discounts. And we've done that not only for Mitel, but also for our cloud. So we've got all the above, percentage discounts on licenses, discounts on handsets, discounts on installation. For cloud, we've got 3 months of support to make the migration easier. So very flexible on that, and I think we can get you a great price and make it easy for you. Lastly, as we mentioned before, Mitel will continue to sell selected user and system licenses until December 31st, 2026. So next slide is going to be a little more detail now on what to expect in terms of roadmap and design support. So back it up a second. Mitel had published this document, which I attached in the handout section, about the end of design support being December 31st. That's what this says. And that was their plan, and they said there were no more scheduled releases, and that was from 10 days ago. So fast forward to today. Mitel is planning on releasing the 20.0 Service Pack 2 in Q1 2026. So that one little grid that said December 31st has now been pushed out until kind of March 2026. So that was an example I want to give you of these dates being kind of no sooner than. So it could be a little bit later. So for now, we still have a next release in Q1 2026. And that will continue. And I did see that question pop up, and I'm going to answer that for you. This release will provide updates to the Rocky Linux OS and to the compatibility for Server 22, and also give you HQ and WinDVS kind of on those servers. On migration, if we migrate, does the license carry over one-to-one? You do get migration benefit for one-to-one. It's no longer 100%. Early on, a couple of years ago, Mitel had a trade-up program, which was, one-for-one, like licensing, and we had one customer take advantage of it. That program was limited time, and I don't think it's going to harm you, because also you had to buy a 5-year support agreement and prepay it all. So the benefit was you kind of got one-for-one licensing, which was nice, but you also had to commit to a 5-year support plan, fully funded upfront. So it really limited the number of people that could do it, because think about your annual support and think about 5x of that for the licenses. So they've changed it now. And now what we're getting, and I'm going to show you in a second, you're getting a 25%, and you're getting a discount on service and a discount on your support plan. So it's 25% on top of any other discounts. So kind of list price, you're getting about half off. It depends on the size of your system, kind of that's a sliding scale. But in your mindset, think it's an extra 25%. So it's about half off list on licenses to migrate. And I'd be glad to email you that detail. Next thing on roadmap and design support. This release that's coming out in Q1, for now, is the last planned general software release. However, that is a for now. Beyond that, first quarter of next year, Mitel will review any future support tickets, and at their discretion, could give you updates kind of as needed. So remember that you will be able to get this update in Q1, at minimum that one, and then after that, kind of on a as needed basis based on support tickets and their discretion, and also delivery of software fixes for critical items. Mitel does have a commitment in their cybersecurity pledge, and that commitment is any, and this is a little technical for the people in IT, but any CVSS of 9.0 or higher is promised to be fixed until December 31st, 2029. So their cybersecurity commitment is any critical security flaw that's a CVSS 9.0 or higher is committed to being resolved by all the way up until December 31st, 2029. In addition to that, on top of that, we do a monthly review of support tickets with Mitel. We have a technical account manager, somebody that we work with, and we look at all of our support tickets and we look for commonalities, issues, concerns, problems, challenges. And then through that process, it's iterative. We then say, here's the customer impact, here's the workaround or not workaround, and what are we going to do about it? Through that process, they then decide, hey, we'll put out fixes for this because it's urgent or important or both. Next, Mitel and Verteks will continue to deliver and sell support all the way through until 2029. If you're active on support, you'll continue to get all the updates, you'll continue to get all security updates and patches, and you'll continue to get all of our support as well. And you'll continue to get hardware replacement as well, all the way up until December 31st, 2029. Lastly here, that PDF that I put in the handout section does have details, and it goes over a lot of the specifics. If you look at that and you got questions, email, call me, Robert, anybody on the team. We'll definitely get you an answer. And that, is going to probably be updated again. New information does come available. They do make some subtle changes. Everyone they've made so far has been to the client's benefit. It's been to your benefit. Mitel has not reduced any support. It's all been increasing it. So I remember whatever you see, it's kind of a minimum of that, if not more. So on to the next slide. This is the product availability going forward. This is on the handout. I won't go through every one of these, but I will at least cover them at a general level. Any of the most popular user licenses are all going to continue to be available up until next year. Additionally, any of these these are some no-charge licenses. They're going to be available until next year. And then there's a while supplies last on hardware. And also all this hardware is still supported fully until 2029. So if you need switches for PRIs or you want to have hardcore switching and not do virtualization, we can do all that, and you can still get 4 years of support out of it, no problem. So that's all still available, kind of while supplies last. There is inventory though. A note on this, you do not see the 6900 series phones listed. That's because those are fully supported going forward. 6900 phones, there's no planned end date, there is no planned end of support. They're fully functional, fully operational. And a matter of fact, they work with several cloud platforms as well. Mitel's in full production on that, no changes whatsoever, nothing on the horizon either. That phone model will be around for a long while to come. So 6900's fully supported on all these platforms, MiVoice Connect, MiVoice Business, and several cloud platforms. And we still can get 480Gs, 85Gs, 20Gs, and of course the GSAs for those as well if you need those for government. So on to what are your options? Kind of the first option obviously is stay where you're at for a while. Remember that is an option. There is no cliff. You can stick with it for quite some time. Option one beyond that is you can consider MiVoice Business. So I want to talk about this a little bit and tell you what you can do here. MiVoice Business is a on-site platform like Connect that's browser-based administration, fully on-site technology, long-term history with Mitel. Is their flagship PBX, and it can be deployed either with on-site gateways. These are hardened, secure appliances with built-in storage and interfaces for analog and for PRI and so on, and SIP. And you can also deploy them on your servers in a virtualized environment, either in Hyper-V, VMware, or Nutanix. I should have put Nutanix on here. It'll do that too. So you can deploy it either on-site with hardware, you can deploy it on-site in software, and you can deploy it either in a public or a private cloud. So private cloud would be like 1111, Green Cloud, Phoenix Snap. We work with all those and more. Or public cloud like Azure, AWS. So we can take MiVoice Business, and if you're, you want to go all Azure, we can drop it right in Azure in yours, and you can control it there. Or you want to put it in AWS, we can drop it in your AWS. Or if you got on-site technology, or if you got a private data center or a colo, and you want to run it in Hyper-V, absolutely. You want to run it in VMware, absolutely. Kind of Nutanix, kind of all the above. So all that's fully supported. Very, very flexible. So it is a on-site platform, but the on-site platform can be deployed either with gateways, in servers, virtualized, or in the cloud, or in the public cloud. So very, very, very flexible. Next, you could move to a cloud platform that is multi-tenant. So when you do cloud with MiVoice Business, it's private, that you own and control. You set the update schedule, you set the maintenance, you do all that, or we do it for you if you want. So it has all the benefits of private cloud, security, control, kind of you name it. That's kind of what you get with private. With multi-tenant cloud, obviously it's more of a utility. You pay a subscription, and kind of they control it for you. In those platforms, we're doing both RingCentral and Zoom. A little bit of a history lesson here. A few years back, Mitel had their own cloud. It was called MyCloud Connect, and they had it for years. Mitel sold that cloud to RingCentral several years ago. And then for a time, we were heavily focused with Mitel and RingCentral on a partnership that was a graceful transition from Mitel to Ring, either for on-site clients or for cloud customers. You could kind of do both. And we're still doing that. So that's still going on. In addition to that, Mitel recently has announced a strategic partnership with Zoom. And the partnership with Zoom is going to go a little farther than the one with Ring. With RingCentral today, you can use Mitel gig phones to the 480G, the 485G. All the 6900s all work with RingCentral today. With Zoom, same, but also Zoom has set up a two-way visibility between MiVoice Business and Zoom, and an AI link between MiVoice Business and Zoom. So what you can do is you can kind of do both. You could deploy MiVoice Business for your big enterprise network with all your phones on it, and then you could bolt on Zoom AI or for some remote users, and they can kind of cohabitate and live together, share presence data, administer them centrally, all kinds of neat things. So a lot of cool stuff there. And then lastly, obviously, you could do another on-site. You could look at, hey, I want to stay on-site. I don't want to go MiVoice Business. I don't want to go cloud. There are on-site options. Sangoma is a brand that's been around a long time. It used to be called Digium. Digium invented really the IPPBX when they released Asterisk. So Asterisk was one of the earliest IPPBX platforms that was invented and owned by Digium. Digium was acquired by Sangoma. Now it's called Sangoma. So it is a long-term IPPBX on-site platform. Works well, all on-site. Same result, the same kind of thing. It's all on-site. So those are some high-level options. Going back to those promotions, and then I will get everybody answers on the specifics of the licenses and the migration plans. But from Mitel, to go from Connect to MiVoice Business, you get up to an additional 25% for trade-ins on licenses and phones. When I say up to, it could be less depending on the phone and the age and what you migrate to, but generally speaking, count on 25% off list plus your regular discount. We were typically given 25 or 30 off list depending on the size. So roundabout half off or more of list depending on your specific configuration. From Verteks, not only are we doing the the like-for-like licensing, but we're also giving trade-in credits for any active support plan balance, plus a discount on migration. So as an example, we just did a big one, a big credit union, 1,000 user deployment, and they got a 60% discount on the migration labor. And we also covered them on both systems for a year and charged them no extra. So we got a lot of flexibility there. And then went to MiVoice Business on site with the contact center. If you want to go to cloud and you're looking at Zoom, we have a great program with Zoom. You get discounted pricing where they look at your current Mitel configuration. We look at the value of that, and then we give you a discount and some free months of service. You also get credit on your active support plan balance, whatever that would be. You get a discount on your migration labor. And as I mentioned, you get free months on your Zoom service, kind of based on size. I think at a minimum, you're going to get at least a month of free service for everyone that does this. As you get bigger and it takes longer to deploy, you're going to get multiple months. If you're in the couple hundred phone size, count on about 3 months of free service at least, which could save you thousands, plus all the other benefits. Basically, the same goes for RingCentral. We'll get you discounts on the RingCentral pricing. We'll give you credit on your active support plan balance. You'll also get a discount on the migration labor, and you'll get free months of RingCentral kind of based on the size. If you've got a really large system and it's very big and you're worried about that, like we have a client right now who they've got about 600 phones and a small contact center. They want to move to RingCentral, but their support plan with Mitel is good until next April. So we talked to RingCentral, and RingCentral is going to give them 6 months of free service. So they'll have their entire support plan from Mitel, and they'll have free service from RingCentral, so they can do a graceful migration over a multi-month period and not have to worry about getting double billed. So a lot of flexibility there. Last note on this slide is to talk briefly about phone compatibility. And just as a reminder, the 6900 series handsets are fully compatible with MiVoice Business and with both Zoom and RingCentral. In addition, RingCentral is also compatible with kind of the more legacy phones, 480, 480G, and the 485G. So you may be able to keep a lot of your phones, just do a firmware update on them, and then migrate them to the new platform. I covered this before, but I want to just touch on it briefly and mention again, we do have Nutanix, and we do have Linux, and we do have either subscription or perpetual on the MiVoice Business side. I want to tell you what that is. Typically in the past, when you bought licenses, let me answer this question first. Question came in, are the 6900 compatible with Connect? Yes, absolutely. And I'm running a 6900 on Connect on my desk. So absolutely, you can do 6900s on Connect. But on MiVoice Business, on your licensing, in the past, you typically would buy perpetual licensing. You pay up front, you own the licensing, and then as years go by, you buy support on an annual subscription. And you can still do that. And you can buy that license and own it, and it's yours forever. And you can also buy advanced premium support on top. In addition to that, MiVoice Business also has a subscription, which is now an OpEx license. You can pay for it monthly. So it's an on-site license deployed in your data center or public or private cloud with MiVoice Business. But now you're getting the license with support in there and performance analytics in there, and you're just paying a monthly subscription price. You can pay annual if you like, but basically it's a subscription for this licensing, not perpetual. So you don't have to come upfront, cash out of pocket on all of it, and you can just do a subscribe. Mitel does both, and there's a lot of subscription deals going on, especially in bigger customers that don't want to put all that cash out to buy licensing up front. On the phone models, this will go right to your question, Rath, about what's available. This is kind of the whole portfolio of 6900s at the top. You'll see on the ones that are most popular, I'd say the most popular are probably the 20 and the 30. Those are the ones that we sell the most of. You can also get you'll see there's no cord on this 6940 on the end. You can get a Bluetooth version of this with no cord, which is kind of nice. Those cords just always get tangled up and whatnot, but this Bluetooth is also available on the 20 and the 30, so that's kind of nice. And we also offer a Wi-Fi version. If you're deployed at a home or remote location with no PoE, no networking, you can deploy it over Wi-Fi and you just have a local power adapter plug in. So that's kind of nice if you want to do it for those folks. A bunch of great accessories as well. An expansion module for like an operator, a Bluetooth speakerphone for soft phone, the Bluetooth, which I mentioned before, which is great. Integrated headset, wireless adapter, extension mics, and a conference phone. All that's there, all in the 6900. All that's compatible with Connect and MiVoice Business and several cloud platforms. In addition to all the desktop phones, also have a great solution here on the newest technology for mobile or portable phones inside the business. What we've got is an excellent array of these handheld phones that are just out of sight. You've got them for, they can be sanitized. You can use them in a hospital. They do multi-line. They have swappable batteries. They've got ruggedized versions that are drop resistant, kind of you name it. These have been super popular, very good handsets. If you need a mobile play with multi-line and you don't want to do cordless phones, you want something more industrial and high quality, kind of this is your solution. If you do decide to look at MiVoice Business and that's something you are interested in, it does have a web-based admin portal. You can do, user move, add, change names, voicemail, password reset, all that stuff right in a browser, kind of easy to do, not so intimidating. Not Connect, it's a little different than that. Obviously, it's new, but easy to administer. Looking at on-site versus cloud, and we're winding down on slides, but looking at on-site versus cloud, if you go with on-site, kind of the things to remember, either private or public cloud, so you can deploy it on-site, you can deploy it in a data center, you can deploy it in AWS, Azure, G Cloud coming soon, and you can deploy it in VMware, Nutanix, or Hyper-V on-site or in your own colo. If it's Mitel, it's a single tenant. You own and control that tenant. You do whatever you want with it. Any kind of custom configuration, custom security, custom reboot schedules, custom update schedules, all that's yours to decide. Zoom and RingCentral and other cloud platforms, it's multi-tenant. So kind of they decide on the security, the update schedule, rolling out patches. They do all that on their time frame. A little bit less control, but still very flexible. Infrastructure location, with Mitel, you can do whatever you want. You can do on-site, hybrid, private or public cloud. If you're doing Ring or Zoom or the other ones, it's in a public cloud. They're public cloud. Trunking service, Mitel, flexible. You can do straight internet, you can do MPLS, you can do local from your phone company. You can kind of mix them and do all the above. Ring and Zoom, you're going straight to the internet. And then phone hardware, Mitel, as I mentioned, you can buy or lease. Zoom, you can buy or rent, or you can migrate. If you've got 6900s, they migrate, or 480s to Ring, they migrate. And then lastly, kind of features, similar now, the very similar features now. Acquisition, Mitel CapEx or OpEx, like I mentioned, with subscription or perpetual. Ring and Zoom are subscription only. On the phones, you can buy them up front or you can rent them. And then analog, they all got analog. You can do fax on all these platforms. Door phones, paging, that works on all of them now. And then trade ups, we can do either license credits and discounts, or we have discounts on Zoom and Ring. So that's kind of a comparison side by side. So what's next? I guess what's next is really review and discuss your options. If you want to stay on site with Connect and you want to stick with what you got and it's working, you're happy, you can continue to do so with full support from Verteks and Mitel all the way until December 2029. If you want to add user licenses and continue to expand, you can do that. That's been extended another year to December 2026. If you want to migrate to a new platform or consider it, we've got incentives, trade-ins, discounts on both on-site and cloud. Glad to help you with that. Email me, Robert, anybody on the team, set up a call one-on-one, go through your specific situation. What we do here, we've done this for several people, is we look at your current Mitel config. We look at both on-site and cloud options, and then we have a chat with you about pros and cons, find out where you are in terms of your preferences, and then based on that, we kind of make that recommendation. Here's what we think. If you decide to do either or both or whatever, we'll do it for you or with you. So in the case of migrating to cloud, we just had a customer, a couple hundred phones, 14 sites, decide they want to go to Zoom. And we're doing it for them. So all the phones will come here to our office. We'll pre-configure it, set up the cloud dashboard, set up all the users, set up all the programming, set up all the auto attendant menus, call routing, hunt groups, work groups, label all the phones with all the usernames, ship them to the sites they belong to, work with their on-site people to get the phones plugged in and cut over, and we'll manage it with our project management, our deployment team, and our folks that know their Mitel, so we can kind of harvest the programming information and make it as graceful as possible. Other customers, sometimes you want to do it on your own. Hey, fine, no problem. You can do that too. For MiVoice Business, if you want to go to MiVoice Business on site and you got a bigger system, you want to administer it internally, you've got people that like doing phone PBX type stuff, and you're worried about recurring costs and you want to keep them down potentially, but you got cash to spend and you want to go MiVoice Business, we can do that for you. Keep in mind that to quote it, it's going to take about 10 business days. And the reason is that we've got to, get all these trade-ins, promotions, get you the best price, make sure we get your licensing checked out. So that can take about 10 business days. If you got a very large or complex system or a contact center, it could take a little bit longer maybe. Installation on these, on the small systems, the easier systems, ballparking 6 to 8 weeks. If you're 100 to 200 users, if you're larger, it's going to take a little bit longer than that. It really depends on the size and number of locations, and the same time frames apply for other on-sites like Sangoma or Resultis. Basically, on the small side, a couple of months. On the big side, it can take longer depending on how complex it is and how many sites you've got. If you're moving to cloud, similar process, a little faster on the quoting, 5, maybe 7 business days, potentially longer if you got more complexity for contact centers and things like that. Installation time frame here, also roughly 6 to 8 weeks for small to mid-sized systems. Larger systems can take longer basing on number of locations and sizes. That couple hundred user one I mentioned to you a minute ago for a long time Mitel client, they got 14 sites all around the Southeast. We're planning on that taking about 10 weeks. So some of that's due to their time frame, some of that's due to other factors, but basically that's just a ballpark estimate so you're aware of what to kind of think about when you're planning a migration. As always, we're here for you. Call or email us. We can go in depth on your system one-on-one, schedule a discussion, do discovery on your Mitel, get you a plan, do demos, talk about next steps, and give you actual real pricing so you can evaluate. That's all the planned content for today. I know that's a lot and went through it real fast. I wanted you to be judicious. I want to be judicious with your time and get you all the information. Feel free to reference that handout, the bulletin that's there, which is a little more detailed. But if anything in there raises questions and you need answers to those, definitely call, email me or anybody on the team, and we'll get you those answers. For now, though, I will stick around. We'll stay on the webinar. I'll continue to monitor the chat and the Q&A. And if you have any questions that you want to pose or any comments, feel free to use that. And we'll stand by here for the next 5 minutes or so. And glad you joined us and hope you have a great rest of your week.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are going to be hosting another one. It is going to be next month. Let me give you the exact date. I believe it is the 9th, but I just want to triple check.
While she's doing that, I did not bring up UMA specifically on today's webinar, but UMA is an option. UMA is a cloud-first brand, and we have been selling and supporting UMA for primarily analog or SIP trunking, but they do have a cloud-based phone system as well, and so that is an option. Yes.
Yep. So our next one is December 9th. That is Tuesday at 2 p.m. If any questions come out of this one, if you review this with your staff and wanted to have another back and forth with Dawn, we're very much welcome to do that. That way you can speak to everybody at your team and then come back to this other live one. So be very similar to this one, just come with your questions. And then like Dawn says, it is recorded, and I usually get this out by the end of the day today. and I'll send everybody that registered a link so you can share it with your team as well.
Yeah, and the question just popped up from Patrick. Yes, Patrick, the answer to the question is yes. There is a Microsoft 365 SSO integration for users for MiVoice Business. So you can integrate that for a single sign-on. All right, well, that looks like everybody's questions for the moment. I will go ahead and wrap this up by saying thanks again. Happy Veterans Day to everybody who's celebrating. And if you need us, we're here just a phone call away. And we hope to see you again soon. And we're doing this webinar again in a few weeks if you need us. And this recording will be out on YouTube today probably. And hope we talk to you in the next couple of weeks about your plans. Have a great day and enjoy the rest of your week.
Thank you, everybody.